Howdy doody, ladies and gents. I am in a fantastic mood. Today is Thursday. It is April the 3rd, and this is Day 9 Daily number 697, where we learn to be a better gamer. This means we're 3 episodes away from 700 episodes about StarCraft. And I think 1 about TF2. I think I have 1 daily labeled as a Team Fortress 2 daily. I think it's 700 StarCraft episodes. I think. This isn't 700 random streams. This is 700 organized shows where we get to tackle a variety of topics, from having fun to learning to play to admiring, such as today, the beautiful play of pros. And I am genuinely excited about today's show. soO and Life, the second semifinal match for the GSL this season, was Zerg vs. Zerg, so people were like, nah. I will say, as a lover of all things StarCraft to begin with, I would say that Zerg vs. Zerg is my least, probably my least favorite matchup. It has a lot of cool games that I've seen, but has, I think, the highest probability of being like, sort of a straightforward match. That guy has a lead, and he's going to keep his lead, and there's the roach attack, and, well, the lead let him win it, and there you go. So I see, in following forums and watching non-pro games and chatting with people, that Zerg vs. Zerg can feel as a player like a matchup without a lot of inspiration to draw upon. There's not a lot of different builds, so it would seem. It appears to be all about the roach. And in today's episode, what we're going to examine is just the amazing play from both of these players. soO, who tends to be extremely aggressive with speed Zerglings early to control the early flow. And Life, who has just gorgeous, gorgeous defense. And I have an introductory game that I want to tickle you with. Before we do that, Monday's Funday Monday is to submit the Hero Funday Monday, where you should play in any sort of game that you would like. Pick one unit to be your hero and try to get as many kills as you want with him throughout the game. The more difficult it is to get kills with that unit, the better. The higher the kill count, the better. If you give me something like a 100 kill count Colossus in a Swarm Host game, I don't care about you. But if you get me like a 25 kill SCV, Speaking of this body I'm rubbing, I'm down about 15 pounds from my peak weight of 240 American pounds. I'm down to 224.8 as of this morning and yesterday morning. I weighed in the same 2 days in a row. So I'm going to try to continue my downward trend, and I hope your health habits are picking up as well. Tomorrow I'll be playing Psychonauts. It's probably going to be a 2-parter, since I read that it's about a 12-hour game. So I'll be doing part 1 tomorrow and part 2 to finish it up next weekend, and then probably playing a little Walking Dead afterwards. Here's the game with which I want to be amazed that I have the wrong screen region up. There we go. This game that's going to be going down on Yunsu is the one that I want to begin with, because of how atypical things are in the general trend of what's going on. And also to establish the personality of soO, who I just, oh my god, I adore. Oh my god. soO, who you might view as a faceless Korean, as the community likes to call it, we're going to focus on first, because there's just, oh god, it's gorgeous the way that soO does this. It's really quite delightful. There's a couple of terms that I think are stupid. I'm just gonna say it. For instance, reactive. I'm gonna play reactively. I think that phrase does not have any meaning at all, because if you're not reacting to your opponent, like, every person should be reacting to what their opponent is doing. There are obviously all-ins that go against this, but I've seen people classify very, aggressive play, very standard play, very passive play. Almost every kind of play that I've seen, I have witnessed someone call it reactive. And I don't actually know what that is supposed to mean in general. Like if I do a rush and you have your defenses up for it, are you playing reactively and I'm playing proactively? I don't know. So I'm going to be using the word react, and this is a reactive move. I want you to forget about any of the crap you've heard from the community or anywhere else, because I honestly, having played RTS for 16 years, I have no idea what's really meant by that. I think that there might be improper play where someone is describing something as reactive instead of, I don't know, active. You should always be active. You should always be reacting to your player, just period. If you are not reacting at all, then that's probably a sign that you're very vulnerable. So what I'm going to do is describe certain moves as aggressive and certain adjustments to it. Adjust is really the word I use when I think a lot of people would say react. I don't know. Just going on that little tangent because I do not want you to think for some reason I am referring to the same mindset that I think is really prevalent and totally wrong. So we're going to see soO down on the bottom side, and we're going to see Life up in the top side. This is a pretty common map to see aggressive Roach mid-games because there's these corridors here that provide lots of counterattack paths and whatnot. Early expanding in some form tends to be typical. So I'm going to describe in the oh-so-briefest of looks what each person is doing, starting with Life, who gets a spawning pool first, slightly more defensive. It does delay this hatchery, but provides us life against other things, provides us an opportunity to get out. Also gets us a rather early queen, which turns out to be a linchpin of Life's defense. He will be able to get 3 queens quite quickly with this play. We're going to watch that emerge. Again, just looking at things from the Life cam, which I will switch to like this. Let me actually remove the color from that, just so we can continue to be red and yellow. So generally what happens when a player goes for pool, then hatch, is there's a decision right after that second Overlord pops, occasionally right as it's popping. So somewhere between 18 and 21 supply. Do you build a gas or not? If the answer is no, it's a queen defense. If the answer is yes, it's generally something slightly more focused on Zerg ling-speed, aka an attack. So we see Life loading right on in. He's going to be staying, I think, 2 queen for a little bit of time. Nope, he's going straight for 3 queen in this game. Excellent. This is Life's kind of go-to build in these. Not so much this ling-speed, but the idea of a pool-first, queen-based defense. We see these queens kind of regularly doing this inject and waltzing their butts back over here to the ramp, while we see, you know, trying to maintain a little bit of vision control. Cool. What I want to do now is come to the soO side of things and just admire, just be like, so excited about it. We're going to see soO do, and actually I can go to the everyone can for this. soO is going to go for an early hatch. Great. Nothing out of the ordinary there. And then soO is going to go gas, then pool. We're going to watch, my goal is to get through 4 games today, and we see this gas, then pool opening here, but in general across many of the games, we will just see soO focus on fast ling-speed. That is the big takeaway I want you to get. This is not a purely a build-focused episode. I want you to see the way that soO always uses lings to get control of the game by having speed quite fast. And we're going to see Life generally go for pool first, expand, and then stay with a fairly non-gas focused opening with queens. We can already see that soO is getting up all the tasty gases. Oh, look at that tasty gas. Look at that fat gas. That gas. So great. 1 queen, 2 queen. We all queen for ice cream. There is the metabolic boost en route. A single drone left in gas. Not 2. 2 would be typical should there be a sort of preemptive baneling pressure. But still 1. Still juste un. I'm going to tell you right now that soO is intending to pull a move that, if his opponent went ling-baneling, soO would die. So, soO wants to make sure he has this backup emergency plan to be able to build a baneling nest with a little bit of gas, should he need. Now, why wouldn't you just get the baneling nest anyways? In Zerg vs. Zerg, it tends to be this gentleman's agreement. You know, kind of like, what are they called, where you have your backs to each other and you step out, one of those formalized duel where you turn around and bang. And some guys would bring swords in their full costume. They'd bring a sword with a gun. That sword that's going to stay sheathed the entire time is like the baneling nest in Zerg vs. Zerg. Most people are like, look, I'm going to get a baneling nest and you're going to get a baneling nest just to let the other person know that we can build banelings. And then we're totally going to go for a layer and get roaches with roach speed. Ooh. And that's you know, there are builds where that makes sense, but I think that this is a norm that has been established that doesn't need to be that way. Here's what soO's doing with the Zergling speed. By getting speed first, let's look at what soO can do. He arrives at the front. We're seeing Life build those queens and those drones. He's trying to poke. He's fairly bold with his initial set of 4 Zerglings. Now, what are we seeing soO do? Drone, 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 massive amounts of drones. All drones, all the time. Has no fear about being the player with fewer lings, because he is the player with the faster ling speed. We're going to see this used so many different ways in these games. So he gets there and he just moves straight up the ramp to get a sense of everything that's going on. Moves around this backside. Notice in particular at the 6-minute mark, a hatchery is taken at the 3rd. Ooh! How will soO defend this? We're going to see it in so many ways this game. As that hatch is taken, there's 34 drones for soO. He's been droning like crazy. As all that stuff's going down, soO is now going to just mass himself lings. He's getting in here. He's seeing 2 in the gas. Well, that is somewhat suspicious. It's a little bit unusual. soO brilliantly manages to scout this baneling nest, and I think Life intelligently built the baneling nest hiding at the backside. But, you know, a little bit of positionally off. And soO responds by building a baneling nest of his own. soO is actually looking to avoid building the baneling nest. But let's see how soO's able to pull it off. In the unit count, we see plenty more drones for soO, but plenty more lings for Life. We're about to see some arousing behavior. There's going to be a spine coming down here. With these 3 queens that soO has established for himself, he will be able to soon enough have a tremendous larva advantage. Builds a single spine crawler and does something very odd. He takes a bad fight. I think it's pretty clear to see that there's more redlings. We will show by noting 24 in the first set, another 8 and 3, so that's 37. Damn, I tried to add numbers fast, and did I fuck up. 24 plus 11 is 35. And down here we see soO has less than that. He has 24 plus 4, which is 28. So soO takes this fight for a little bit until things are looking pretty bad, and then he pulls back. But what's interesting is that this permits soO a little bit of time to establish, to reduce... I'm sorry, I'm saying this wrong. This forces Life not to morph in these banelings right away. It delayed the time that these banelings were coming out. And soO is getting the opportunity to build his banelings at approximately the same time. If you stay for the full duration, soO loses very badly, but he's trying to trade semi-evenly in lings and then get a couple of free banelings, and to delay the banelings, of course. So in this moment, one of my favorite notions in all of strategy games is the idea of a crossbow that you're drawing back farther and farther and farther, and the instant you get the chance to let it go, boom, it's going to go right through his face. This is a situation we see for soO. He has this momentum going for him. He has this hatchery up, and if life can't deal the damage, then soO is basically going to be drawing his crossbow farther and farther back before he can release it and do a key strike. Life has to deal damage now. So soO, despite having overall fewer lings, 23 to 40, there's 5 banelings here, he can flood heavily on banelings and know that as long as he trades evenly, he has a full hatchery of extra larvae. And then here's another move that I just think is so sexy out of soO. Works on many maps, in particular works well on young soO. He's just counterattacking with these speedlings. Gets some nice baneling connections. Life trades some banelings to kill off another hatchery. soO has not stopped building lings since this hatchery completed. Or excuse me, since that hatchery started constructing. And think of the position that Life is in. Life, who's gone ling-baneling, is trying to apply ling-baneling pressure, and then once he thinks that it's failing, or that he's done enough damage, he's going to drone behind. But soO has more larvae, has 2 hatches with injects and a 3rd hatch. So soO just counterattacks in a very, very odd move that I find to just be absolutely brilliant. Just counterattacks Life right in the face. In terms of the units lost at this point, it's not terribly different, but it's about to be. So cool. By focusing on ling-speed and getting this extra hatch, and then basically equalizing the baneling timing with that early speedling scout, I mean, soO is able to just reap huge dividends. And as a finishing play, what we're going to see soO do is leverage the extra larvae he has. Let's do a thought experiment. If you have 2 hatches and 2 queens injecting on them, and I have 2 hatches with 2 queens injecting on them, if I make nothing but units, you can make nothing but units and stay alive. But if I also have a 3rd hatch that's injecting larvae, I can get drones out of that. So what soO's going to do is, more or less, make units out of 2 hatches to force Life to make units out of 2 hatches, and then soO's going to drone behind. Very aggressive, very speedling-focused play. Not a ton of banelings that we're seeing out of soO. Look at this. We see still Zerglings getting produced in there. Running lings up into the main. Messing up and having them come back down again. Baneling rocking it. Yeah. Look at the production tab. Still some drones, but not a lot. Some lings. She's hauling her buns down there. Yep. Inject. Look at that. Mostly lings. Some drones. Not a lot of drones, just some drones. soO repositioning himself. It is a long-term economic focus to the usual ling-baneling. Normally when we see ling-baneling, it's this, we're both just gonna stop what we're doing, try to stay alive. What's wrong, kitty? Did you hear the kitty meow? Here, I'm gonna tap the floor. This is how we summon the kitties. Kitties. We're gonna get one. Yes. Are you okay, Sabin? Sabin meows. Sabin likes to hop up on my desk and drink my water. Come here, Sabin the kitty. Yes, you're so cute. Here, I'm gonna pet you. That's right. That's your water. That's not my water. Drink it. I don't care. It's tasty, isn't it? Every time I get anywhere close to this, oh, and then he leaves. You meowed for me. Come here, cat. Come here, I'm still petting you. Come here. You like being pet. All right, I'm petting him right now. Sabin, jerk. Oh, is Edgar here too? No, it's Sabin. He's still blown away by the hands. Is that a hand? Dude, this cat is enormous. This cat is like... This cat should be on the same weight loss program I am. I should feed Sabin Chipotle. all day. You're supposed to self-regulate. We're going to have to restrict your diet. Okay, listen. The way that Zerg vs. Zerg normally works in the opening stage is a player that begins ling-banelinging is answered by a ling-banelinging player, and they both kind of just hurl units at each other till one makes a mistake and dies, or till one of them's like, But suddenly, soO is able to do this, which is with a huge amount of pressure. I mean, life suddenly realizes, oh shit, you have a third hatchery. Oh my god. And by the way, if you've ever played StarCraft, and you're in a serious game, and you find an expansion is suddenly done, oh shit is going to be the first thing you think. Oh my god, why didn't I scout? Oh shit. So we see that out of soO, look at this very slow tech. Look, 6 drones. We're not seeing like 17 drones get built at once. Just 6. We haven't swelled up to 72 drones. We're still at 41, adding on 6. And then a roach warren goes down, a second gas geyser. And if you look at Life's production, he's also stuck at 36. He is also stuck building lots of lings and banelings. And soO is just slowly flooding in. Ooh, gruesome. Really gruesome hits for soO. But soO is not somehow dead if this attack goes awry. soO sees an opportunity, floods only lings, has a superior amount of drones to begin with. Target fires, attack fires, lots of healing. Healing! Runs around, loses it all. No big deal. 36 new Zerglings. Look at this one drone. 7 roaches being produced. Sneaking in drones here and there, very easy to do when you have a third hatch's worth of larvae. But then waltzes directly up into main base, and Life is like, I hate this game, and then he leaves. Just gorgeous. 86 to 45. Really solid. So I want to emphasize everything that we've just seen in a way that will apply to our future games that we witness. soO heavily emphasizes fast Zergling speed. He loves using speedlings to control the flow of battle, to snatch up space, to be able to grab extra bases. Life prefers a more queen-focused, drone-heavy, gasless type opening that allows him to ramp up his economy without wasting any larvae at all. So we've gotten a chance to see this game. Which game do I want to watch next? You know, let's watch a very long game where we'll see really the brilliance of both Life and soO, because they're just such beautiful players. Their play is beautiful, and I guess they're arousing as well. They have such beautiful Zerg versus Zerg. I'm gonna shut up and we're gonna go to break. On a break, we're on a break, whoa.